Netanyahu is throwing such a temper tantrum over the United States restricting a bomb shipment to Israel, possibly some other arms shipments, because they're invading Rafah after Biden told Bibi that he won't help him if he invades Rafah. Now, after he invaded Rafah, and Biden stopped arms supplies, he wants to throw a big old fit about it, saying Israel is prepared to act alone in their invasion and genocide against Palestinians in Rafah. Well, good for you, boyo. You're going to stand alone.
The UN announced that as of this morning, more than 100,000 Palestinians have fled the city of Rafah in southern Gaza. Many civilians had originally been ordered by Israel to come here for their safety. Now they say
this is typical of what the Israeli government has been doing. They will bomb an area, tell people to move to a new area, and then they start bombing a new area and then tell people to move to another area, which they will then bomb. And that's how they've been forcing everybody to move from up north to down south in Rafah.
they have nowhere to go. We are tired, says this man. Either they should kill us all at once and send us up to God, or they should stop the war.
And that's what Bibi Netanyahu wants the 2,000-pound bombs and 500-pound bombs for, so that the Israeli government kill a large number of people at once.
But Prime Minister Netanyahu is determined to press on with an offensive against Rafah, saying Israel is prepared to act alone and fight with only our fingernails if necessary, but adding,
Man, Bibi Netanyahu loves to play the victim. We will only fight with our fingernails if necessary, acting like they don't have artillery equipment, fighter jets, and any other type of weaponry that can be used to massacre a group of people. I mean, they got nukes.
we have much more than our fingernails. Netanyahu also spoke in a lengthy and non-confrontational interview with talk show host Dr. Phil.
Who isn't a real doctor, by the way.
He took aim at protests on college campuses in the U.S., where demonstrators continued to clash with police overnight.
You have a lot of ignorant people there, whose sense of history at best goes back to breakfast, not even that.
He addressed...
Wow, calling people who don't support the Israeli government ignorant people and whose history only goes back to breakfast? Wow, he doesn't have a very high view of his own people that are protesting against him.
President Biden directly, saying he hoped he and the president could overcome their differences. But
we will do what we have to do to protect our country, and that means we will defeat Hamas, including in Rafah.
Yeah, genociding people, starving people, killing your own citizens, killing aid workers, killing journalists and stuff, that's not self-defense. That is genocide and murder.
Israel says Hamas has 4 remaining battalions of fighters in Rafah, and that it must root them out to destroy the militant group responsible for the October 7th massacre and mass kidnapping. The White House...
Mass kidnapping? If you want to talk about mass kidnapping, what about the thousands of innocent Palestinians in Israeli jails haven't even been charged with any crimes whatsoever? You got kids as young as 5 being put in Israeli jails, being tortured, being denied food and water, being denied sleep and stuff. That is horrendous, and the Israeli government claims to be the good guys when they're kidnapping people from the West Bank.
Already held up 1 shipment of 2,000-pound bombs, and President Biden said some arms shipments would stop if Israel attacks Rafah's main population centers. But our crew in Gaza is documenting how that is already happening. These children were in their homes in central Rafah when they were hit by Israeli shells.
Oh no, look at that dude on crutches. He is Hamas. He has weapons on his arms. That's what some IDF member would probably say shooting the kid. The IDF targets civilians there is no lie about that. That's why 34 to 40,000 civilians have been killed. You even have an IDF whistleblower that came out and said that the IDF does target civilians.
Doctors try to reassure a boy named Mohammed. He keeps saying he wants to go home.
Well, all these Hamas kids doing what Hamas does and what be kids and try to live. Like, come on. The idea that every single Palestinian supports Hamas or is going to grow up to be Hamas is pretty racist against Palestinians when there are uh, a million plus people in Gaza, in Rafah, and a lot of them, pretty much a majority of them, have no um, connection with Hamas. You have babies and kids being killed, and people are acting like they're Hamas.
This is his neighborhood in central Rafah now, raising the question, is Israel already crossing President Biden's red line?
Yeah, the Israeli government has already crossed Biden's red line. They're invading Rafah. They're blowing up houses, killing kids and people. Uh, the United States should have actually done more a long time ago, but Biden is a Zionist and he wanted to support the Israeli government no matter what they did. Though, if he continues to support Israel invading Rafah and mass murdering a bunch of civilians, that's going to look bad for him as it already has supporting the Israeli government. And he's probably worried that the ICC could issue arrest warrants for him for being complicit in war crimes.
The Rafah operation has also derailed hostage negotiations and talks to achieve a ceasefire, with one senior diplomat telling NBC News the talks have effectively collapsed. Savannah?
Well, yeah, it's hard to have peace talks when a government is invading a city and killing a bunch of people. I mean, they're showing that they don't want peace when the Israeli government is invading Rafah.
Richard Engel.